Hey guys, and welcome back to the Retail Rip Review. 2025 Donruss Football Blasters are on the shelves now, so I went ahead and grabbed one so we can check out what's inside and also do a little mini downtown hunt. And just for comparison, I grabbed a couple of the 2025 Holiday Tins as well because these are both the same base set of cards, so we're going to double up our chances here. But we're going to try to figure out if either one is actually a good value as far as downtown hunting goes, because when it comes to Donruss football, that's what you're really after. Let's go ahead and check them out. In a previous video, we opened one of these tins before, but it was last year's version. This is the 2025 version. Not that it's very different. And like before, even though it comes in a little holiday box, the cards are just the base set for Donruss football, so there's nothing actually holiday themed about them. But you are able to pull downtowns in them theoretically. So as far as value goes, it's kind of like you have to weigh up the plus minus of retail versus hobby, because Donruss Hobby came out, it's actually been out for a little bit now. It came out and it's been very expensive. I think a hobby box for Donruss is about $425 or $450. So if you're looking for downtowns, a $15 tin of cards or a $25 blaster might seem like a much better price point by comparison. Let's go ahead and check these out and see what they have inside. If I can get it open. Much like our other tins, these are going to have 3 packs of 5 cards each in them. Unlike the blaster cards, actually, the back of the box states that you usually get 2 cards per pack that are non-base. The blaster cards are only described as one non-standard card per pack. So that's definitely a big difference. And as far as overall value, if you're looking to get non-standard cards, maybe these tins are a little bit better value than the blasters. Let's find out. Let's go ahead and open our first one, see what we get. The parallel in here that you're going to get is the purple press proof, which is just their kind of purple bordered parallel. Let's see what we have here. There's J.J. McCarthy, recently returned from injury. That's nice. Jalen Lane. We have a throwback insert here with Mason Graham, the rated rookie. That's pretty cool. Although, a D lineman, I don't know. I'm not really looking for inserts of linemen, but here's a purple press proof of Tank Dell of the Texans and Luke Musgrave behind him. So like I said, we got about, an insert and a parallel in each of these packs. That sounds about right. But as I mentioned in the intro, we're really looking for downtowns, and that's basically the case when it comes to Donruss football in all the formats. Unlike, we'll talk about it and see it a little bit better. Here's Jalen Royals on the purple press proof, rated rookie. And we have an insert called Champ is Here with Devontae Smith. It's kind of cool. I like that. And Mike Gesicki behind that. But as I was saying here you have our Falcon, Darnell Mooney. And we've got the rookies insert with Jalen Lane of the Washington Commanders. Kind of like that. Has like a checkerboard kind of X-Fractor look in the background there. The Donruss inserts are fun. I think overall, though, compared to, let's say, the Donruss baseball cards, which we obviously really like opening on the channel, there's Rashid Shaheed on the purple press proof and Kendra Miller. Unlike the Donruss baseball packs, they really load those up with parallels and inserts. I would say, from what I've seen from the Donruss Blasters, that's not the case with football. And honestly, it's kind of disappointing because, like I said, you're expecting about 1 card per pack that's non-standard. So, you're basically getting 1 insert per pack or maybe 1 parallel. And from what I've seen opened online, it hasn't really been a really great return. So you're really just kind of hoping for good rookies and maybe, if you're lucky, a downtown. So here we have Chuba Hubbard on our purple. Maxwell Hairston on the rookie. Chris Jones. We have an Elite Series rookies here with Travion Henderson. Not to get on a fantasy diatribe, but he fooled me pretty hard this year. Like a lot of people, I kind of went heavy on him on my fantasy team, and hasn't happened yet. But it's a long season, so we'll see. It's always tough when you kind of banking on rookies when it comes to fantasy. I feel like lately they've been more viable than ever, but still subject to case by case. Here's Khalil Mack and Omarion Hampton, 2 Chargers back-to-back. Here's Tez Johnson on the purple. Very nice. And we have a best of Panini Instant. I guess this is kind of like a almost like a Tops Now for Panini. I didn't even know that these existed. That's kind of cool. It says Williams steers Chicago to victory in debut. That's kind of cool, especially if you're a Bears fan. Put you over here. And Joe Horn. And our last pack. All right, we got Brian Robinson. There's Jalen Walker, rookie for our Falcons. That's cool. And we've got one of the Gridiron Kings. There's like the Diamond Kings almost for the baseball cards here. They've got a cool texture to them and, you know, more of that portrait style. And we got Cam Ward on the rookie card. That's actually a great name to get. You know, Cam, not the season that I guess he had hoped for here so far, but still got a lot of promise. There's Joe Horn on the purple and Jonnu Smith. So there you go. So that was that's what we got from 2 of those tins. Obviously, we didn't pull any downtowns, but if you're looking for just non-base cards, I think that maybe it's not a bad value. Let's check out the blaster. Ready, down, put. So let's go ahead and check out our blaster. So we get 90 cards per box. It says look for Donruss threads or rookie phenom jerseys memorabilia cards. We shall see. Also, you know, it likes to tout the ultra rare downtown insert. So that's what we're hunting for today. And the retail exclusive white hot rookies. And also talks about a card here, the optic rated rookies preview hollow parallel. That's a mouthful. We'll see what we can get. I mentioned it in the first part of the video when we were opening the tins, but unlike the baseball release, the Donruss football release is a little bit different. You're really just kind of banking on rookies. And, you know, like I said, you get one kind of non-standard card per pack of 15 cards. So you get a ton of base with this. So all in all, like if you're looking to collect the set, I think this is probably a great way to do it. But if you're looking for something specific, I'm not so sure. I think you might be better served waiting for mega boxes to come out, which they haven't come out yet, or waiting for Hobby to come down in price. But we'll see. We're just going to kind of go through some of these base cards here. We'll stop on fun ones like Dion, our legendary boy. We'll go ahead and put him on the stands. Not sure how many people are going to be making their way to the stand on this one, so we'll just go ahead and see what we get. Quinshon Judkins on the rookie. That's actually a good one to pull. He's had a really good start. Once he got on the field, it's been all up from there. And look, wow, we have a memorabilia card right off the bat from Derrick Henry. This is the Donruss Threads card that we just mentioned or saw on the box. Very cool. You know, relic cards in general, like I said, I just feel like now that you just see them all the time now, they're just kind of more of a standard insert. You know, not standard, but you know what I mean. So they're not as special, I guess, as they used to be. And they're so small, but it's still cool to see. See who else we get here. All right, we have another one of those Panini inserts here. The best of October 27, 2004. Ladd McConkey soars for 2 scores versus the Saints. Very nice. I actually think that's kind of a fun way of doing that because I know a lot of people collect Tops Now cards, but honestly, they can be kind of prohibitively expensive. I think if you wanted to, you know, really kind of go after it. So having them, just a few of them in the base packs of some of these is a good way to collect them. There's William Andrews for our Falcons. Natron Means. I like it when the legends come in there. And Graham Gano. You know, kicker and punter cards. You know, no shade, but, you know, I'm not collecting those. All right, George Kittle, Tony Dorsett. Now our rookies here. We'll kind of try to keep our rookies separate if I can remember. Kelvin Banks and Tedroa McMillan. There's Travis Etienne. Good year from him. I wish that was last year. Let's see. Here we have an insert. This is the White Hot Rookies with Cam Ward on it too. Yeah, we pulled Cam on the Gridiron Kings in our tin here. This is a nice looking card. Once again, I mentioned it in the first part there, but oops, sorry about that, Cam. A little bit of a shaky start here for Cam, but you know it's probably more organizational than anything. I'm not putting that on him. Tony Pollard. I feel like Tony might have some boy status. I feel like he finds his way onto my fantasy teams more often than not. Mark Andrews, tremendous player. Here's Khalil Mack again, Brock Purdy, Emmett. Our rookies are going to be Mike Green, Io Manor, Darius Davis, TJ Watt. Cam Ward again on the throwback. So this is just a Cam Ward kind of video here. I don't know. Is he trying to make a push for the boys club? I'm not sure. We'll see if he keeps trolling us like this. Victor Cruz. Oh man, it's so fun seeing some of these names. People I had just forgotten about, like Victor Cruz and Steven Jackson, honestly. Briefly on our Atlanta Falcons. Unfortunately, that was well past his sell-by date. No shots at him, but you know how it goes with running backs in the NFL. 1 minute you're here, 1 minute you're not. There's Saquon, Trent Green, there's Drake May, and we have a red press-proof parallel of Rex Grossman of the Bears. That's quite a name to pull on that. That's another name I haven't thought about in a long time. Not exactly a Bears legend. We have Donovan Jackson and Terrence Ferguson on our rookies. There's Kyle Pitts for our Falcons. Who else we have here? Wandale, Jeff Garcia, and DK Metcalf. 2 packs left. So you can see what I mean as far as what you get out of the football blaster as opposed to the baseball blaster. If this was the baseball blaster, we would have like 15 parallels up there, and that's not necessarily, doesn't necessarily mean that's a good thing, if that's what you're after. Personally, I think it's a little bit more fun. Like I said, this is a ton of base to get out of a blaster. DJ Giddens and Ashton Janty on the rookies. That's cool. You have Kenneth Walker, Justin Herbert. We have a Legend Series card here with Peyton Manning. Very nice. Happy to get a Hall of Famer on that. It's very shiny. Oh, like that. You know what, Peyton? We're going to put you over here. And thus we have succeeded in filling up all of our stands. There's John Elway and Terry Bradshaw. A lot of legendary quarterbacks in there. This is our last pack. Do we have the downtown magic in here? Let's be real. I don't think so, guys. I'm not even going to do the peak. Let's see what we get. Our rated rookies are going to be Malachi Starks, DK, Gesicki, Brian Burns. Got something shiny. It is an insert called Production Line. That's cool. I like duo inserts like this. So we have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, the 2 top wide receivers for the Bengals. That's a great card if you're, especially if you're a Bengals fan. I mean, not necessarily a Bengals fan, but those are both great players. Sorry, Dion. We'll put you down here. And we're going to end off with just some more of our base, Jake Ferguson and Kyler Murray. So there you go. So that is a Donruss Football Blaster. Like I said, I do enjoy the Donruss inserts. I just kind of wish maybe there was a little bit more of them in the football side of things. But, as far as the overall goal, if you're chasing downtowns, it's still a better value than getting a hobby box, like I said, for $450. Maybe your chances are better overall, but I've seen people open hobby and not get anything at all. And I've seen people open a bunch of blasters and tins and not get anything either. So it's kind of a pick your poison, so to speak, for that. But if you like the looks of the cards and you want to collect a lot of base, blasters might be the way to go. But personally, I mentioned it before, I think you should wait for mega boxes. I think the odds are a little bit better as far as getting a guaranteed hit, and then as far as you can getting autos and things like that. And just overall, seems like a better value on paper. I'm not quite sure where we ended up today because I'm not super familiar with the market for these cards yet, but I think overall we did okay, at least on the blaster. I think the tins are just way more of a gamble because you just get such few cards or such a few amount of cards that if you don't get anything that's worthwhile, that it's kind of just a complete wash. But the blaster, there's enough there where you can kind of make up some of the lost ground if you have any. But that's going to do it for our football-themed episode here on the Retail Rip Review. Let me know in the comments if you like Donruss football this year, or if you plan on opening it at all, or maybe you've already opened it and hit it downtown. Don't tell me that. I don't want to know that quite yet. I hope everybody has a great day. Take care and tune in next time for the Retail Rip Review.